This is Masterful Chats, and I'm Rebecca. Hello and welcome to all of my wonderful subscribers and to those of you who are viewing me for the very first time. Masterful Chats are short, clear, concise, clarifying conversations designed to uplift, empower, inspire, and support you as you move forward in your spiritual path and in your life's journey. And today's Masterful Chat is about letting go of relationships. But for those of you who are viewing me for the very first time, I would like to take a moment and tell you a little bit about myself. I am an information synthesizer, a mystical scholar, and an intuitive. And I know with my entire heart and whole being that each one of us is a beloved child of God. We are known completely, totally, and we are loved beyond measure. I would truly appreciate your supporting the channel by sharing, subscribing, or hitting the notification bell. So now, let's talk about letting go of relationships. When we're first born, if we don't get the love and the nurturing and the attention that we need, we can suffer developmental disabilities, physically, mentally, and emotionally. If our family dynamics were perhaps not the best, that can affect us as we move into our teenage years and out into adulthood. Very few of us were raised in families where we were able to learn how to communicate our thoughts, words, and feelings easily. Some of us grew up in very, very unsafe environments where that was not okay to express yourself. And frankly, everyone on the planet is simply doing their best with where they've been, what they have, their level of awareness and knowledge of themselves and others, and where they're going. So as we move forward into the 2020s and beyond, the energies will continue to come on the planet. And these energies are disrupting not only systems, but they're disrupting people. They're disrupting belief systems that are locked down and rigid, that may not be in mankind's highest and greatest good or for the good of individuals. They're disrupting energetic systems within us, so that if there is a wound that needs to be healed, if there's something that we need to address, more than likely it's going to come to the surface. And as we can see, if we look out into the collective, that there are a number of people, a huge amount of people who are in an awful lot of pain. And if they're in a lot of pain and they're not able to cope and address those issues within themselves, then quite often they're projecting it on others. They're blaming others. They're making others responsible for how they feel. No one can make you feel a certain way. That's up to us. Someone can say something to us, but that doesn't mean that they made us feel a certain way. Only we are responsible for our feelings. And if we allow another to blame or to shame us, then that's within us, and we've allowed that. I know that may not be easy to hear, and I'm not speaking about children. So if someone says something to you and it upsets you internally, or you turn it on yourself that, oh, I'm a bad person, or I should be ashamed for this, that's you doing that to yourself. Now, mind you, there may be patterns in your history that you grew up with that, and that you were taught either through the family system or cultural systems or other conditioning, that you were responsible for the thoughts, words, feelings, and actions of others. Many of us did grow up like that. And if we're sensitive and intuitive, we can have a tendency to take that on, to take on the thoughts, words, feelings, and emotions of others and blame ourselves. That being said, you are responsible for you. And relationships are changing drastically on the planet. They've always been the most challenging game, but they are going to continue to become more challenging as more people feel anxiety and disruption and uncertainty in their lives. With the new energies coming in, people are changing and relationships are changing. Quite often our own families have splintered apart. Other relationships that may have been in our life for decades have fallen to the wayside. And then we had COVID, which was a tremendous loss with millions of people passing. So there has been tremendous change and tremendous grief just within the last 4 years. And a lot of people are reeling from that. And they haven't quite gotten stabilized. But now let's bring this back to you. Letting go of relationships can be very, very tough. It can be very, very challenging. You have a person that you love very much, and you may have been with them as friends for, let's say, 30 plus years. Some of us have had marriages that have ended or that aren't in good shape. But as these new energies come in, people are being called to be exactly who they are. They cannot hide anymore. And if there are any wounds that need to be healed, those are going to be felt internally. And it's up to the person who's feeling that wound as to how they choose to address it. Are they going to figure it out and heal themselves? Or are they going to project it out into the world? And if we're in a relationship that is not giving us joy, that is not benefiting us, that is not providing a safe place and nurturing and love, then it's time to look at that relationship. It's time to perhaps seek outside counsel, to look at perhaps different resources that might be available to us if we need to make a change, to give ourselves some options. And I realize it can be scary because change for human beings is difficult. And we, at this time on this planet, are going through monumental changes. And a lot of people are terrified and frightened. So if you're not happy in a relationship, if you feel that you need to make a change, understand if you're having a lot of anxiety and fear over that change, that is normal. Make sure that you get the resources and the assistance if you choose to make a change. Never put yourself in a dangerous situation. Your safety and health and well-being is number one priority. In letting go, though, of relationships, we have to realize that it always comes back to us, that every person has their own path. And sometimes our paths can come together, and then sometimes they separate. Part of it is surrendering that we are not in control of another's behavior, that try as we may, we can't force others to give us what we need or want. That comes down to us. to give ourselves what we need and what we desire. And if that person that you're with on whatever level in terms of a relationship is unwilling, unable, then stand back and look at it and see what your options are. Because these new energetics want us to be our biggest and best selves. And in many cases, relationships that have been in our lives for decades are ending so that we can grow new muscle, grow new strengths, create new creations on a different level that would not be possible if we stayed in this relationship or with this person. And sometimes that just requires surrendering. Surrendering that we are not omnipotent. Surrendering that we are not all-powerful. Surrendering the fact that even though we might love this person with all of our heart and soul and entire being, that they just don't love us anymore. Or that they just can't give us what we need anymore. Or that we're just not meant to be together anymore. Or the relationship needs to change, where maybe that person can be in your life, but it's just going to be on a different level and with different expectations and commitments. I understand that it's not easy and it can really hurt the heart, but that's where the trust comes in. That's where the trust comes in that there is a plan, and that if you create space in your life, that new things can come in. New people can come in. New situations can come in for a bigger, brighter, and better you. Letting go means trusting the process. Letting go means realizing that you're only in charge of yourself. Letting go means allowing another their path. And you may have been to counseling, or you may have tried to come to agreements. You may have had discussions. But the bottom line is, it takes two. It takes two people to say, yes, this relationship is worth it. It takes two people to say, you're important enough to me that I'm willing to make a change if that's what you need. It takes two people. And sometimes when we've given so much time, energy, money to certain things, we really don't want to just walk away. But sometimes that's what we need to do. And it's up to you how you walk away or how you release them. So if you can release them as best you can. And if that's right now in anger or frustration or emotional distress, then that's okay, because that's where you're at. But be patient with yourself and allow the grace to come in. Allow the healing and the forgiveness to come in. Because no relationship actually ever ends. It looks like that on the physical plane, but we're also connected spiritually and energetically. That relationships that you have today will continue into the ethers. And perhaps you were just meant to learn something this time around from them, or to experience something this time around, or to come into your own power with them. Often, the most challenging relationships can be our greatest teachers. And because we are on schoolroom earth, because we are here to expand and adapt and grow as human beings and spiritual beings, and that's what relationships do for us. So if you're going through a hard time, if you're mourning the loss of a friend or lover, husband or your wife, be compassionate with yourself. Give yourself what you need. Reach out to professionals. In no way put yourself in danger. Make sure that if you have a volatile situation, that you get the proper support. Letting go requires trusting the universe, trusting that Spirit has a plan for you and your life. Know that you matter. Know that you are important. Bet on yourself to create the beautiful life that you want for yourself, where you're not surviving, where you're thriving, where you have people and relationships in your life that not only sustain you, but create joy and laughter and love. Thank you for being with me today for this masterful chat. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Until we chat again, wherever you're at in the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Blessings.